Denver, bustling city, a place where dreams are built on concrete and steel. Skyscrapers reaching for the sky, casting long shadows over the streets below. Alex felt trapped in this urban jungle. Every day was a monotonous cycle. Office, computer, reports, repeat. The weight of the city bore down on him, making each day feel like a struggle. But something stirred inside him, a quiet voice, a whisper of discontent. He found himself staring out of the window, lost in thought, yearning for something beyond the glass and steel, a longing for something more. Weekends became his sanctuary, a brief respite from the relentless pace of city life. He dreamed of open spaces, of the freedom to explore and breathe. Hiking boots on, he'd hit the trails. Each step was a step away from the chaos, a step towards tranquility. The anticipation of the weekend hikes kept him going through the week. The Rocky Mountains were his sanctuary. Majestic and timeless, they stood as a stark contrast to the city. Here he found solace and a sense of belonging. Fresh air filled his lungs, a welcome change from the city's smog. Trees whispered secrets, their leaves rustling in the wind. Nature's symphony played a soothing melody. Each step took him further from the city's grip. Higher he climbed, the more he felt the burdens of urban life fall away. The higher elevation brought a sense of clarity and peace. He dreamed of bigger challenges, of testing his limits. The mountains called to him, their peaks promising adventure and self-discovery. One name echoed in his mind, Mount Blue Sky. A formidable peak, a true test. Conquering it became his ultimate goal, a symbol of his desire to break free from the confines of city life and embrace the wild, untamed beauty of nature. A flyer caught his eye. This was it. His chance, the call he'd been waiting for. He signed up immediately, no hesitation. This was more than a climb. It was a journey into the unknown, a test of his courage and resilience. Excitement bubbled inside him. He could barely sleep. Days were spent researching, planning, preparing. He felt truly alive. This wasn't just a weekend hike. This was different. This was serious. Gear was checked, double-checked. Backpack meticulously packed, every item essential, no room for error. He trained relentlessly, push-ups, pull-ups, endurance runs. He visualized every scenario, prepared for any challenge. He studied weather patterns, learned about altitude sickness, memorized first aid procedures. Knowledge was power and survival. He felt ready, confident, but a sliver of doubt remained, a whisper at the edge of his mind. Was he truly prepared for anything? The base camp buzzed with nervous energy. Experienced climbers shared stories. Alex listened intently, absorbing every detail, learning from their wisdom. The ascent began. Step by step they climbed, higher and higher. The air thinned, making each breath harder. Views became breathtaking. Then the weather turned. A sudden shift. The sky, once clear blue, darkened ominously, casting shadows over the peaks. Winds howled like angry spirits, echoing through the valleys. The mountain was unleashing its fury, relentless and unforgiving. Section 5. Fear grips tight. The mountains, a place of serene beauty and adventure, had suddenly turned into a realm of terror. The once inviting trails were now treacherous paths, hidden under a blanket of relentless snow. Panic surged through the group. The hikers who had started their journey with excitement and camaraderie now faced the brutal reality of nature's fury. Their faces, once filled with joy, were now etched with fear and uncertainty. The storm descended with a vengeance. It was as if the mountain itself was angry, unleashing its full wrath upon the unsuspecting adventurers. The wind howled like a wild beast, and the snow fell in thick, blinding sheets. Visibility dropped to near zero. Snow lashed down, blinding. The world around them disappeared into a white abyss, making it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. Every step became a struggle, every breath a challenge. Alex felt a surge of fear. His heart pounded in his chest and his mind raced with thoughts of survival. He had never felt so vulnerable, so exposed to the elements. The mountain, once majestic, now felt menacing. Its towering peaks, which had inspired awe and wonder, now loomed like dark sentinels watching their every move. He was exposed, vulnerable. The storm showed no mercy, and Alex knew that he had to find shelter or risk being swallowed by the relentless blizzard. He lost sight of the group, disoriented, alone. The once familiar path was now a maze of snow and ice, and every direction looked the same. He called out, but his voice was lost in the howling wind. The storm roared in his ears, drowning out all other sounds. It was a deafening symphony of chaos, and Alex felt a deep sense of isolation. He was alone in a vast, unforgiving wilderness. He knew he had to stay calm. Panic would only lead to mistakes, and mistakes could be fatal in such conditions. He took deep breaths, trying to steady his nerves and focus on the task at hand. Panic would only worsen the situation. He reminded himself of his training, of the skills he had learned for survival. He had to trust in his abilities, even when everything seemed hopeless. But fear had a grip on him. It was a constant, gnawing presence, threatening to overwhelm his senses. He fought to keep it at bay, knowing that his survival depended on his ability to stay composed and think clearly. He remembered his training, found shelter behind a rocky outcrop out of the wind's icy claws. He huddled there, shivering. The storm raged for hours. Time seemed to stand still. Alex fought to stay awake. Hypothermia was a constant threat. He dug deep, found strength he didn't know he possessed. This wasn't just about reaching the summit anymore. This was about survival. His instincts took over. He was in a fight for his life. Rationing hope. Night fell, casting an eerie silence over the mountains. The cold was biting, and the wind howled like a distant wolf. The storm showed no sign of abating. The snow fell relentlessly, each flake a reminder of the harsh reality. Darkness deepened the isolation, making the vast expanse of white seem even more desolate. Amplified his fear, the night seemed endless. He rationed his food and water meticulously, knowing that every morsel counted. Each piece of food was a lifeline, a small beacon of hope in the overwhelming darkness. Every bite, every sip, precious. He savored them, knowing they were his only sustenance. The cold made it harder, but he persevered, his determination unwavering. He knew he had to make them last. The storm could rage on for days, and he had to be prepared. His survival depended on it. He had to hold on. The thought of giving up never crossed his mind. He was determined to see the dawn, to feel the warmth of the sun once more. Hope flickered like a candle in the wind, fragile yet persistent. It was the only thing keeping him going, the only light in the overwhelming darkness. He clung to it desperately, his eyes reflecting the determination in his heart. Every step was a struggle, but he refused to let go of that glimmer of hope. Thoughts of his family and friends fueled his will. Their faces appeared in his mind, giving him strength. He wouldn't give up. He couldn't. The love he felt for them was his anchor, his reason to keep moving forward. He had to make it back to them. The vision of reuniting with his loved ones kept him going, step by step, through the relentless storm. He imagined their smiles, their warm embraces, and it filled him with a renewed sense of purpose. No matter how long the night, he would endure. For them, he would find his way home. The storm finally broke at dawn. Weak sunlight peeked through the clouds, a glimmer of hope in the vast whiteness. Alex emerged from his shelter, battered but unbroken. The world seemed reborn, fresh, pure. He took stock of his situation. He was alive. That was all that mattered. The summit was forgotten. Survival was his victory. He knew the way down. Every step was a victory march. He stumbled back into base camp. Relief washed over him. He was safe. The experience had changed him profoundly. The city welcomed him back, but it felt different, smaller, insignificant. He had faced his fears, conquered his limits. He carried the mountain within him. Its lessons etched into his soul, the importance of preparation, the power of resilience. The experience had given him a new perspective. Section 10, Sharing the Mountain, Inspiring Others. He couldn't keep it to himself. He had to share his story, inspire others to push their boundaries, to embrace adventure. He started small, sharing his experiences with friends and colleagues. Soon he was giving talks. leading hikes. He found his purpose, helping others discover the transformative power of nature. He wasn't just Alex from accounting anymore. He was Alex the mountaineer, the survivor, the inspiration.